Here we go. All right, welcome everybody to the Creation Wars. I almost said the Arcanum Wars. This is sort of a product of the Arcanum, and we get together every week. We bring together great masters of the Arcanum, and they come in for this really fun photography competition with kind of a twist. So today's show is going to be uber awesome. We're actually trying something a little bit different. This time we're just going to go with 4 masters instead of 5. Maybe that'll make it click along a little faster. I don't know. Not that it was too slow or whatever. We're just like experimenting around here. But before we have the competition, I have a new DJI Inspire Quad that we'll play with and we can talk about. But first, let's go through introductions like we do every week. And we also say what we happen to have. I'm Trey. Today, I feature a different New Zealand wine every week. This is a Pinot Noir from the Waipura Valley region, 2012 Main Divide. So I'll be cracking this open very soon. And let me jump straight to my co-host, who usually I introduce last, but today I will introduce him first, Gino.
Well, hello. How are you? So things are clicking along great. Life is good. As you know, if you've been watching the pre-show, I'm on Ubiquitol now, so everything's probably going to get better. Life's good. I'm really psyched up about this quadcopter show. I don't know if it's really a quadcopter show, but you're busting out the quadcopter, and I'm pretty excited about that, Trey. Because you know that's my new thing. I dream about quadcopters now, especially the new DJI. So I'm really fired up. Plus, having Angela Pan. If everybody that's watching the show tonight will just not pay attention to the show, but just watch Angela when other people are showing their apprentices. The scowling that goes on is amazing. That's like the inside baseball there. Just watch Angela scowl. That makes the whole show.
And Gino, what are you drinking tonight?
Jim Beam single barrel.
All right. Looks pretty empty already.
Yeah, it wasn't a few minutes ago. So.
Okay, so Gino, you decided the order in which we're going tonight. Who's first up?
Yeah, A.D. Wheeler.
Hey, I'm A.D. Wheeler. Tonight I am getting a lot of echo, and I'm drinking some Sangiovese, and it's from the Biltmore Estates. I don't know if you can see that. It's like the largest house in the United States, and someone stole this bottle of wine and gave it to me, and I'm drinking it, and it's really good. So, yeah, so I'm from House Lightbender, and Molly Kate is who I am going to sponsor tonight, put her in the forefront, and yeah, you guys are going to vote for her, or I'm not getting you anything for Christmas. That's that.
Next is Angela.
Yes, I'm Angela Pan, and I'm a master here at the Arcanum, and I will try my best not to scowl. I just can't even help it. I don't even know when I'm doing it, so the whole time I'll just be smiling. And tonight I'm drinking, actually I got this wine from Trader Joe's, but when I was opening it, I saw that it was from New Zealand. I didn't even notice that until just right before the show. So that's
wow. What's that called?
It's called Marlborough Sovereign Republic.
All right, it's from the Marlborough region. Very beautiful area of New Zealand, like every new area.
I believe the Marlborough man lives there. Is that correct?
It's spelled different. Okay.
Next. Mason is up next.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Mason Marsh in Portland, Oregon. My website is masonmarsh.com. I try to make it hard. I do have a workshop with some openings in it next October. So check out my website under the workshops link if you want to come to the state of Oregon and check it out. Tonight I am drinking coffee because last time I drank a lot of coffee liqueur, and by the end of the show I was talking about orca whales and their ability to telepathically transmit photos. And I don't know where that came from. I'm pretty sure that's not even scientific. So I'm just going to drink coffee tonight. I'm drinking it from a local roaster, the St. John's Coffee Roasters. It's a very nice espresso blend that I've brewed up myself, and I'm drinking it in mocha form. And I'm going to chase it with a little bit of mineral water.
What?
All right.
You're chasing coffee with mineral water? That is so
weird.
weak.
It cleanses the palate. You know, I'm going into battle, Gino. I want to be fresh.
Taking a different stance.
Yep.
It's dangerous.
I got drugged last time. Not going to happen again.
Self-drugged. Okay. Who's up next, Gino?
Well, by process of elimination, Trey, we have David, batting cleanup.
All
Right.
right. Hi. I'm David Marx, also a master here at the Arcanum. I brought 3 beverages for this evening's competition. I have coffee, because I've noticed that this game goes long and fierce, and I want to stay on it. I have water, because hydration is the key to athletic performance. And, of course, wine, which is the key to creativity. Tonight, a Washington Chardonnay brand called Stone Cap. Very inexpensive, very tasty, highly recommended. Tonight, I'm delighted to be presenting for one of the members of my community, Corinne Federer, fabulous travel cityscape photographer.
I think we should just end the show right now. This show's already over. This kid came prepared. He's not fooling around. He's got the 3 major food groups. He also is the only man who shows up with a metal cap on his bottle. I'm saying it's over. I'm casting my vote right now. I don't have a vote though, do I? So anyway.
He's coming strong. You know, he is a first-time master here on the Creation War, so a bit of an underdog. Everyone else sort of has an advantage here, so we're going to see how strong he comes.
It's over.
Yeah. So
I've been studying their game.
Let's talk to our man Stu here. Hello, Stu.
Stu, what's going on, Stu?
So, yeah, I'm Stuart, Stu, otherwise known as Lobot around these parts. So I thought I would dress the part. Website's up behind me, and I help cut the video together at the end of the show. This week, I know AD said I'm a beer guy before the show, but I thought I'd change it a little bit. I've got a Merlot, and the reason I have a Merlot is because it was free. It's a sign that I eat too much takeout, because when I went in to get some on Friday, along with my meal, I was handed the bottle of wine and was told, this is from the boss. So, yeah, you know you eat too much takeout when they start giving you gifts with your meal.
So when Stu walks in, everybody yells, Norm!
Pretty much, yes.
And Tiff, another hero of the Arcanum. How are you, Tiff?
Yeah, I'm doing well, actually. Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm based in Australia. What am I drinking tonight? Nothing, because I just finished my coffee, and it's daytime here in Australia. I'm currently over on Twitter, and if you guys want to join in the conversation, you can use hashtag CreationWars5. And yeah, if you want to vote for your favourite and multiple people's choice a bit later on, that would also be awesome. So that's me.
All right, very good, Tiff.
Cool.
Thank you for coming. And thanks, yeah, use pound, what is it, Creation Wars 5, like she said, if you want to kind of hang out and Twitter and stuff like that. I'm watching it also to see. And that's where we're doing our People's Choices Award, and that was kind of a surprise hit last time. So we'll do that again. Thank you, Tiff.
Yeah, I just invented it for you, just to be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Gino, we're ready to go for a little quadcopter talk?
I've been 24-hour jonesing ever since you told me that you got the new Inspire in. I want to see it, Trey. Give me the goodness. Give me that Trey Inspire goodness.
Break out the Cylon.
Okay, so here it is. Check this thing out.
Wow, that thing is huge.
It's from the Terminator.
Very big.
Wow, it's way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's really big. Actually, Peter Giordano, he hit the nail on the head when he said it looks like something from RoboCop.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, it's just quite big. And it's pretty heavy, too. It's got these big struts. These are very hard metal struts. And it's quite heavy, too. I would say it's at least, I don't know, 3 or 4 times as heavy as the other one. The blades are enormous. They're super big. And they're quite a bit thicker, too. I mean, it's sort of like danger zone kind of thickness. But it's super rugged. It feels like really nice and tight. Here's the camera thing right here. And it just rotates around. It's like that thing that Luke Skywalker fought against when he was learning the lightsaber with Obi-Wan. one thing that's pretty cool about it, is that it actually comes with an ND filter on it that you can remove. So you can keep the ND on during the day and do all kinds of stuff. Let's see what else. So I don't know if you guys have seen the video or not, but in video, you see how it kind of lands right here, right? It lands on this area. But what happens is when it goes up in the air, these struts, they raise up. And so this part is the low part, and those parts are the high part. It's super cool. And that allows this to spin around 360 degrees all over the place, all over the shooting map.
So when the struts go up, they get out of the whole point of that is that they get out of the way so the camera can do 360-degree filming without filming the struts.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And here's the other. Let me sit down here. The other really cool thing, which I didn't know about until I just looked at it, or until we just got it. But down here, there's actually more cameras. They aim straight down, and their purpose is they have two purposes actually. One is it can sense when to raise and lower the arm, so as it's coming down for landing, the struts come down for a landing. And the other thing is for indoor use, where there's no GPS, it will actually watch the ground, and it can know where it is by looking at the relative motion of the ground right underneath it, which is super cool.
Yeah, so the great benefit of that is that with previous quadcopters, if you did go into a cave or any kind of an opening where the GPS got cut off, your quadcopter could crash very easily because it lost contact with where it is spatially. But with this design, it actually, as soon as it realizes there's no GPS, it immediately starts sensing the ground so that it doesn't crash.
That's right. And here's the battery, which is quite a bit bigger. It's not that big, but I guess it's pretty big. And it's got this sort of system on there. By the way, if any of you guys have questions, you can feel free to ask them. Just like the other one, just test to see if it's all filled up. It's all filled up. It's all ready to go. Do you know that I've yet to even do a flight? You believe it? I've been too busy. But maybe
you haven't even flown it yet.
Yeah.
So now are those arms? I thought they were carbon fiber. You said they were metal.
Well, I guess they might be carbon fiber. Yeah, I guess you're right. They feel like metal, though. What do I know?
I've been jonesing on this thing. I've been on the DJI tip for like the last 48 hours. I've been like watching everybody else's videos, all the reviews. It's really exciting. That's a really cool. They say it's about 5 pounds. Would you say that's accurate?
I think it's heavier than that.
Now the benefit of that is that it supposedly holds itself steady in high wind.
Well, the other one did a pretty good job at that too. It was so smart at adjusting to the wind. Maybe super high wind. Yeah, maybe you're right. So here's the other kind of X factor is that it comes with. I got the 2 remote control versions. Actually, this stuff was shipped to me straight from China, and I don't know if all this writing in here is in Chinese or if people wrote numbers on it and then started crossing out the numbers. So it's one of the two.
You know what that looks like, Trey? It looks like the Arcanum masters have been voting, and that's the format they use right there.
And so for the neophytes in the crowd, which I was just like a week ago, you can actually have 2 people control the thing, like in what was that movie, Pacific Rim. There's too much for any one man to control the giant robots. You need 2, and one of them controls the quadcopter. The other one controls the camera. It's pretty cool. It's got all kinds of buttons. Like this actually manually raises or lowers the struts. Okay. Otherwise, the control is pretty much the same on the front. But then it's almost like it gets all Xboxy up in the system here. So I can hit this one to start recording the video right away. I think I click. On the other side, I think, is the one where I can just take a photo, so I can take a photo instantly. These allow me to adjust the gimbal around. There's some rocker buttons back here that might be programmable later. No one's quite sure yet. But it's a nice hefty controller, and also it's rechargeable. If you can see those lights or not, so it's you don't have to put in batteries or anything. You just recharge it just like the main quadcopter.
So you don't have to use two controllers, right? But the benefit is that you can use two different controllers if you want to, so that you can have greater control of the camera.
Right. You only need to use one. There's no need to use two. Yeah, just for a better angle, because it is. Well, the other thing about it, which I didn't mention, which is probably worth mentioning, is you can live stream it into your iPad, and you actually use a Thunderbolt cable and hook the other end of the Thunderbolt cable into the back of the controller, and so you can watch 4K video live. And the quadcopter gets something like 1.8 kilometers away from you, and you can still be seeing live video. So the idea is that the guy that's controlling the camera has this mounted to the top of his controller, and he can do the video while the other guy's trying to figure out where the hell the quadcopter is.
Yeah. So that makes sense to the whole rest of the world, but to America, that's about a mile away, right?
Yeah, more or less.
All right.
Do you have something?
I know you're international now. You don't speak America anymore. But, you know.
So what kind of flight time
I think it's about 20 minutes.
So about the same as the Phantom then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got a heftier battery, but because it's so much heavier, the bigger battery still gets you only about. I've heard from some people that have done real world testing that it's like 18 minutes, but that's plenty of time, you know, to grab a lot of shots and do a lot of video. And if you have a couple extra batteries, then you're good to go.
Well, if you get high enough, you can get 2 minutes of free fall out of it and have 20 minutes then.
Right. I'll tell you one thing that's really cool about this that I didn't know is, well, there's a special app for it, and the app is unbelievable. I thought it might be just sort of this hacked together app that just for testing or whatever, because I don't think they're even really out yet. But the app is super robust. And it's got a few cool features. One, it has sort of like this live map view, and it's always kind of leaving this snail trail of everywhere you've gone. You can make the map big and all this kind of stuff. But it has all these different kind of controls. You can change the home location, because, you know, it tries to fly back home whenever you flip a certain rocker to be the takeoff position or to the controller itself. But for a photographer, I think probably one of the coolest things is that the camera is totally manual. So you can put the camera in manual mode. You can set your aperture, you can set your shutter speed, you can set all this kind of stuff, or you can let some of these other ones float. So you have like actually total control over the photos you're taking, which is unbelievable. And the idea that you actually get to take a photo really fast just with a flick of your finger, rather than having to use the app to take the photo, which was always clumsy before. I think this is going to be pretty awesome.
So could you set up a flight path on the iPad with the app and then have the thing flying automated while you're running the camera?
I don't think so yet, but I'm sure they're thinking about that. I've heard that would be pretty cool. Something like that with the previous generation. I'm sure they'll be able to do it with this one too. This one's so much more sophisticated.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Awesome.
I'd actually heard for like I don't know what the right term is, landscape, like where people will go over certain zones and take a video, and then later they'll want to go back over, like say after a flood, and video the exact same path. And that you can pre-program it to fly an exact same coordinate so that you'll be able to compare the two videos against each other.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, super duper cool. Angela, did you ask something?
I was just wondering about the remote, how heavy it was, just because you said that you could put the iPad on there too. It would be hard. For me, I feel like it would be hard with all of that in your hands.
This is probably... Angela, did you ever hold the controller for the previous one, the Phantom?
No.
Well, it's about twice as heavy as something that you never held.
Okay.
It's 2x. But actually, it's not that bad. It's lighter than my Sony camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it really becomes an issue for you, you know, Angela, all you got to do is just like bat your eyes at the closest fella, and he'll come over and hold it for you all day long. Trust me.
So I'm a little worried because I'm taking it to Antarctica for 2 weeks. I'm going down to Scott Base, you know, Gino.
Yes.
And yeah, it's going to be really fun. But from what I understand, there's not much GPS coverage down there because all the GPS satellites are all kind of around the majorly populated latitudes. So we may not have much GPS positioning there to help keep it steady. And I get a little of that down here in New Zealand sometimes. You get this effect where it's supposed to be steady, but it does this thing called toilet bowling where it kind of just goes in a circle. So I might have to fly without GPS down there, which makes me a little nervous.
So you said you're taking like 3 or 4 different quadcopters with you?
I think I'll take 3 quadcopters. This big one and then 2 of the Phantoms.
Wow.
Should be fun.
How long are you going to be in Antarctica for?
For 2 weeks. So there's this place called Scott Base, which is the New Zealand kind of research lab. Every country, I'm finding out more and more about Antarctica. It's actually a really super interesting place when you look at how the countries are doing research and everything. Most of the the big countries have different research labs there and do different things. The New Zealand one is really sweet. And it's all like color coordinated, looks kind of nice, and it's not like some crazy like camp that looks all disorganized with just like junk laying around every place. But they take like biosecurity super importantly. You got to scrub everything down. I had to take all these tests, not only physicals. I had to have an AIDS test, by the way.
Wow.
Passed it. Every possible kind of test that you would expect I had to have, including taking like a written test and things like this. But it's you actually fly in on a C-130 with like skis on it. And you land. It's a big military kind of customized jet, and so you land. So you're actually at this base for 2 weeks, and that's sort of our center. And so I'm going down there with my friend Stu. And so Stu and he's going to be doing video, and I'll be doing photos, and we'll make lots of behind-the-scenes stuff for the Arcanum and stuff. It'll be really awesome.
That's awesome.
But our very first night, we actually have to go survive, and we have to go like dig out an ice cave. And they said if there's extra time, we can make like ice furniture underground, and have a little lounge, a little ice lounge, have a little tent. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited.
So you're gonna be making ice furniture. Nice. Maybe like a little like a old console with a record player and a little sidebar. That would be nice.
Yeah. Who knows what Stu and I will make down there? It's gonna be fun. I know one thing we're gonna make, and that's some bad decisions.
Good. That's what we need. Plenty of those.
All right. Are you guys ready to get into the big competition for the night?
Let's do it.
Yes. All right. Thumbs up all around. Okay, let me explain it very briefly in case it's people's first time watching. So we have 4 masters here from the Arcanum. In the Arcanum, every master has a cohort with about 20 apprentices underneath them, and the apprentices level up from level 1 to level 20. And then they go to another master to get up to level 30, then another master to get up to level 40, so on and so forth. Now, what they're doing, each of these masters has chosen a champion from their cohort, and the champion has produced several photos throughout their lifetime in the Arcanum, and they picked one photo to represent them in this battle royale. Okay, so they will present this photo. They may or may not talk about the apprentice and a little bit about them to build up a story about them. They may or may not show a bunch of other photos from the apprentice, but it will culminate in one final photo that they will present on screen, and then it will be critiqued very quickly by all the other masters here. And then we will rinse and repeat as we go through the masters. And then there's a very confusing voting process at the end, and we will declare a winner. That's the game. All right? Did I explain that well, Gino?
Let's get it on!
Okay. Who was first again? Gino, I already forgot.
A.D. Wheeler.
A.D.
Throw me into the fire. All right, a screen share here. All right, y'all seeing that now?
Yes.
All right, everybody. I present to you Molly Kate. She is Irish. She's a photographer. And, of course, she's adorable because she's in my cohort. You can add her up on Google Plus at mollykate.houselightbender.com. And if you like a little story to go along with your photo eye candy. Be sure to check out her brand new site. She just launched. This is very cool. MollyKatePhoto.com. All right, it's very cool. I've been there. I spent yesterday there. It was a lot of fun. So you should go check it out. So Molly was born in Boston, Massachusetts, where she first learned photography from her mom. Molly's like my last apprentice. She's kind of mild-mannered and somewhat subdued during the day. She's an accountant. Can you believe it? My second accountant. She sits behind a desk and bean counts all day long to pay the bills. But she really wants to be a full-time artist, and that kind of makes Molly a little sad. So to help Molly break out of her shell, I decided to do some research on this Boston place, because I'm from New York, and I have no idea what this Boston place is like. So I Googled it. Prepare yourselves. This is a picture of Molly, by the way, when she's sad. I'm not sure if she feels like jumping in the fountain or what, but just saying. So when she joined my cohort in July, I told her to sneak out of work and take as many photos as possible if she could, and she did that. But let's get back to really quick. I want to talk a little bit about Boston, because I'm from New York, as I said. So this is Boston. This is one of Molly's shots right here, actually. And it turns out that Boston is a city. I didn't know that, and it's on a map. Does anybody else know that? It's on a map. It's right there. It's pretty cool. And yeah, and people live there. People like these people. I don't know if you've seen them before. They're from Boston. And I Googled even further. You know how you kind of get into that. What do they call it? The black hole. You know, you end up on YouTube. You don't even know how you got there. I don't recommend it. It led me to discover some really cool things, though. I found out that people in Boston, they like sports. They like all sorts of sports. They like football, and I think it's baseball, and hockey, my favorite, and basketball. I didn't even know that. They like basketball, and they also like shirts in Boston. Molly will tell you that they like shirts. So there's a couple of shirts that I found online. I think I'm going to order that one on the left there. I think that's pretty cool. So anyways, Molly joined my cohort, and I told her, you know, if you really want to do this photography thing, you got to sneak out of work and take as many photos as possible, and that's what she did. She took photos of guys on bikes. Right there's one of them, right there. And she took pictures of guys on trikes. And there's another photo of a guy. And guys on mics. I mean, incredible. It's just amazing. And she also takes pictures of goats. I just wanted to include that in everything as well. And then, in one of her critiques, she took this photo. This was a changing photo for Molly, I think. She may not recognize that right now. She's probably looking at this going, why did he go back to this photo? This was a ballerina in downtown Boston, and it was just before a performance of Swan Lake, and Molly couldn't get a clear shot of the ballerina. She was surrounded by other dancers, photographers, and the like, and so she just improvised, and she created. And since she brought this photo to me in the Arcanum, she has just been an absolute creative monster. It's been amazing. But not how you might think, because I mentioned to her in a critique that landscapes might not be her thing. And she proceeded to go out and prove me wrong. And these are the shots that she came home with. And I'm going to fast forward here really quick and show you some of these. But this is her trip to New Hampshire. And she just said, you know what, I'm going to take some time off from work, and I'm going to go do these amazing photos. And her previous photos were nowhere near this. She blew me away when I saw these. I'm like, is this the same person? I couldn't believe it. And I did mention before that she's Irish, I think, and I'm Irish. And all it takes is for somebody to tell me that I can't do something, and I go out and do it. And I really see that in Molly as well. I went and told her that she couldn't do something, and she went out, and she goes, yeah, you want to go a little? Let's go. we'll have a little beer and we'll go. So that's what we did. And she came back with these amazing photos. I'm just blown away. So I want to get to the photo, though. I'm just showing, going through these. These are all from New Hampshire, I think, in the area. She's probably correcting me in the Hangout right now. But I want to get to the photo that I submitted for your consideration tonight, because I know I'm going too long. I'm getting the look. And this is the photo. This photo is called the polar bear. And when you see it, and you'll see it, I'm just going to leave it at that. Molly looks forward to getting all your votes tonight. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
All right.
Excellent presentation.
Very nice presentation, AD. I like these big stories. I'm not pressuring other masters to do it. I'm just saying that I like these big stories, how they build them up, and a little bit of a sob story. I love the sad Molly Kate at the fountain because she wants to take photos all the time because she's stuck in a dead-end job in Boston. These tug at the heartstrings of all of us, AD Wheeler. I like it. Very good. Okay, now.
You put that up?
Yeah, put up the photo so that we can critique it.
Boom. There it is. Does everybody see the polar bear, by the way?
Yes.
It's amazing.
No.
If you look right here. Whoops.
Where?
Here.
I don't see the polar bear. Where's the polar bear?
I see the polar bear. He's kind of winking.
Yep.
Yeah. He's also wearing a dress.
Well, polar bears, you know. They do.
Yeah. Okay. Now you say he's wearing a dress. Yeah.
Beautiful photo. Okay. Who's number 2 in the queue? Gino.
That would be Angela.
Angela, you're up. Critique away.
Yes. I really enjoyed your story, AD, and I really enjoyed a lot of her pictures. I especially liked the previous one of the snow and a few other landscapes images that you presented there. And this one, to me, I really like the color and the water flowing. I just kind of wish that the waterfall wasn't so straight in the center. I wish it was a little bit more dynamic and kind of maybe diagonal lines or crisscrossing some way. To me, it's just very centered and very central. But the color in this and the water and the rocks, I really enjoy. So,
cool.
Critique.
Very good. Okay, next up is Mason.
All right. I blew it up real nice and big on my screen. I appreciate Stu putting the high-resolution JPEG up so we can really look at these. You know, one of the things I really like about this image, yeah, I see the polar bear. That's cute. But what's cool is she didn't blow out the snow, and that's really hard to do with landscape photos where you have lots of shadows. And I think that she's done a really nice job of balancing the shadows and the highlights and creating a really nice, even image that doesn't blast you with anything, and it's kind of tranquil and peaceful. I wish it was a little wider. I wish I could see a little bit more snow on the right and just a bit more on the left. Maybe more of a squarish format, but that's just me. I really like the photo. So nice job.
Cool. By the way, for people watching, before David Marx gives his critique here, there's some gamesmanship happening here. If you can tell us of the subtleties of the human interaction that's happening here, because each of these masters has 5 votes that they get to cast later in the show. Okay, and so they're trying to get votes for themselves without being too harsh. They're just trying to sway the movement of the votes from one master to the next. So just pay attention to some of the subtleties here, some of the Machiavellian machinations. It's a master class, I say. David Marx, you're up.
Well, I fear my video has disappeared, but first, Stu, fabulous presentation. That place Boston that you Googled is a lot of fun and really fascinating, and sometime you should leave New York and go there and visit it for yourself. I think you'll like it. The photos you've shown are also wonderful. This one in particular, I love the interplay of warm and cool. We have a sense of winter light, late afternoon, or sun, early morning. And I think the composition is really strong, the right shutter speed to give us a little flow in the water. If this were a photo that was submitted in my critique, I might consider coming in a little off that bottom right corner where we have that extra band of snow. Down there in the bottom right, it creates sort of a hot zone that my eye goes to that I don't think we really need, with the beautiful polar bear there in the middle. But a fabulous image.
Very good. Good critiques, everybody. Awesome. By the way, AD, I agree with you and your quick analysis about that photo of the ballerina doing Swan Lake. That was a really interesting photo. Super interesting.
It was a toss-up between that photo and this photo. And Molly seems to be going more in this direction, so I really wanted to promote her with something that she's moving more towards. But that's my favorite photo from her. I worked with her on that photo, and it's just it's amazing. I love it.
Right on. Okay. Angela, you are up next.
Okay, let me screen share my image. And this is my apprentice, Patrick. He is my apprentice from Sweden, and he is definitely all about the Arcanum. He is always there when we have late night hangouts. He's even hanging out with us right now at work while we're presenting his images. And
now, Angela, is your cohort full of good-looking young Nordic men?
Oh, I forgot to mention he's single too.
Oh.
So he definitely wanted me to mention that. But no, not all good-looking Nordic men. I wish. But Patrick is also one of our more frequent travelers. So he actually just uploaded these images into our cohort to prepare for his level 9 critique. So this is one of the images, and I just love the use of space that he has in pretty much all of his images. So he just uploaded this one. I don't know much about these images, but I just love looking at them and just love looking at his space, and I can just tell he brings his camera everywhere and just captures everything that he loves to see. So in this past spring, he actually traveled to Africa, and he was in Botswana. And he was inspired by a Swedish author. I don't know the exact story, but he was inspired by a Swedish author who talked about these Botswana people and was able to go through a guided tour with them. And then so this is the image that I am presenting for Creation Wars, and this was one of kind of the tour guides that was leading them along on this trip. And he was just fascinated by her language, by her hands, by everything that she was saying. And just looking at this image, it makes me fascinated by what she's looking at, what she wants to say, just her story behind her. So this is my image that I'm presenting for Creation Wars from our cohort.
Very strong image, Angela. AD, you're up.
Wonderful image. I totally envy this photographer. I mean, it's one of those photos that, you hate it because I didn't take it. I mean, that's about all I can say. It's fantastic toning, great emotion, and everything that Angela said is just spot on. Great photo. Nice work. I like actually all the photos that you had shown me, except for the picture of him personally. I was not interested in, even though we had that previous discussion about New York City. Didn't do anything for me. So he's still available, but I really like all the other photos as well. So great job, Angela. Nice work.
Thank you.
Cool. Mason Marsh.
This subject is enchanting. She's really, I could see why he was smitten with her. She's got these amazing eyes. I love the background, the selective focus with the beautiful soft background. I wish that there was eye contact here. This is one of those subjects where I want her looking at me so I can see more of her, I guess. I think that there's 1,000 stories in that face. So wonderful photo. Love the processing. Just wish she was making eye contact with us. So
cool.
Wonderful though. Nicely
Thank you.
done.
And David, you're up next.
Boy, these are all such strong photos. Fabulous work. I think Mason and I come from similar places or similar backgrounds in our outlook on photography. I too, my only suggestion here would be, I wish that the eyes were right directly out towards me, because there's so much going on that I wish I had that direct connection. Instead, here I find she's clearly looking at something off to the right, and I'm curious to know what's outside the frame. Where I think if the photographer was a step to the right or the head was turned just a little, it would really be a Steve McCurry, Phil Borges style portrait where we're just looking right into somebody's, the eyes are the window to the soul kind of thing. But man, these are great, or Angela, beautiful selections. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say that I didn't actually select these. I asked my cohort to help me vote for which image I should present, and everyone voted for this one. And I just think that having everyone vote just pulls us together and really helps us represent our cohort together. So I didn't choose this. Our cohort did.
Very nice sentiments there, Angela. Very nice. Okay.
By the way, Trey, I just wanted to add that once again, I've already pre-voted for David to be the winner here, but I think what he just did there by throwing in these names, Steve McCurry, Phil Borges, nobody knows who these people are. He just pulled those names straight out of the phone book. But but all the rest of us are like, oh my God, look at this guy David. He knows everybody. I don't even know who these people are. That was genius. Nice move, David.
Oh, you know Steve McCurry. You may not know his name, but you've seen the photo.
Yeah, I think you're giving me way too much credit. I don't know anybody.
Okay, Mason McBeard, your turn.
Thank you. Let me screen share here. There we go. I want to introduce you guys to my apprentice, Stephen A. Wolf. Stephen is, A is for Ansel, by the way, I think. I'm not sure. This is his self-portrait. This was his assignment for his level 6 challenge, Master's Challenge, was to do a self-portrait, and he claims that these are the 3 sides of his personality. He's a very interesting fellow from Ohio, and he brought up the term in his last critique, for his level 9 critique, drubbing, D-R-U-B-B-I-N-G, which has become my word of the month. I just love it. So now when I give people critiques, it's known as a drubbing. And this guy, I think he just invents words. He invents his own reality, really. He comes from humble backgrounds. He was born a young child, very poor. Had nothing but a camera and a mushroom to sit on. Really unfortunate for him. He did, take to cameras at early ages and worked hard as a child photographer to bring money home to his family. They lived in the slums of Cleveland as he was growing up in the early years.
By the way, Mason, you don't have to say the slums of Cleveland. You can just say Cleveland, and we'll assume slums.
Okay, not everybody's been there, so I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, the better parts of Cleveland. Anyway, Stephen, when he came to the Arcanum several weeks ago, even though he'd been making photographs since he was a child, his initial set of photos that he submitted really showed a lack of focus and a dedication to the technical. Out of focus, poorly composed, bad processing, sensor dust, you name it. Really, horribly blurry photos of squirrels, really uninspired drivel. And at first I thought he was, pictures of his lunch, things like that, stuff that you wouldn't even put on Instagram. This was the sort of thing that he was presenting as his art. And I really pushed him. I said, Steve, if you want to be in the Arcanum, you've got to bring your A game. You've been a photographer since you were a baby. You've got to put on your big boy pants and wake up And he claims that after a night of binge drinking NyQuil and eating whole tins of Altoids, he watched the Trey Ratcliff video series on HDR photography and had sharp pain in his left temple and woke up in a pool of his own vomit. But from that point on, he's been an incredibly gifted photographer. It's a testament to what the Arcanum can do. So here's, this is another one of his earlier works. Not, I mean, there's a lot to be said for photos like this, but I don't think they really represent his artistry. But now he's bringing this style. He's embraced black and white photography, and he's taken on a simple approach, very much a street photography style that I find very refreshing and very clean. And he likes to go out in the streets of Cleveland and walk about and find reflections and shapes and colors and work them into these very moody mono types of photographs that I really like. And this photo here is one that he submitted early on in his time in the Arcanum. This is a shot of his daughter, and everybody in the cohort really liked the shot. It was not posed. She's giving him that, geez, Dad, you have to take another picture look, which we all get way too often. So this is another one of his more recent shots, which I really like. But the shot I would like to present tonight is one that he brought to his last critique at level 9. And the more time I spent looking at it, the more I really fell in love with it. And the story behind this is Stephen was walking through a park in his town and came upon this group of teenage girls who were taking photos of each other in a gazebo. And they had just gotten out of a dance class. And here he is, a guy walking up to a group of girls and says, "Can I take your picture?" What helped there was that he had his wife with him. She's also a photographer, and I should mention she's also a member of the Arcanum in Les's cohort. So Stephen and his wife are I believe, our only pair of Arcanum couple, Arcanum sweethearts, if you will. But he made this photograph after he lingered there for a while and they stopped paying attention to him. He was able to get this kind of honest moment out of them. And what I love about this photo is it's a dreary day, it's cold, the trees are bare, and these girls have dumped all their gear on the ground, and they're taking photos of each other in what they probably perceive as very glamorous situations and poses. But I see this as just a wonderful slice of Americana, and I find it to be refreshing and very well composed and well processed. It's not heavy-handed, and it's honest. It's just kind of fun and awkward and embraces the geekiness of adolescence. So this is the photo from Stephen A. Wolf. Again, comes from humble roots, and it wasn't until he touched the cloak of Trey Ratcliff that he was actually able to find his true eye and embrace his artistic, creative vision. So he's a testament to what can be done in the Arcanum.
You're muted, Trey.
Sorry, I was muted. My son wanted to get a battery for the clock. That was a very nice story, Mason. By the way, it does no good to pay me any compliments. I appreciate them, of course, but I have no votes in this. I'm just throwing the mic around from person to person, and now I'm throwing it over to you, Angela.
Oh, I think AD's first.
Oh, I'm sorry, AD. My bad.
Man, I thought for just a second I would get a clue in on this photo. I'm completely lost. Yeah. It's fabulous. It's a nice, well-composed shot. I'm a little concerned with the darkness. I think he could have lightened up this bush here in the back just to separate the contrast a little bit here between the girl here in the tutu that's very dark against that. But Mason, you hit it right on. It's a very innocent shot, and I love the cell phones out. I mean, it's just so now, you know, and we were in Central Park this past weekend, and it was cell phone mania everywhere. You know, it's just so it's very cool. They're out there, they're getting some nice shots, and just, you know, being kids, and that's totally awesome. And he captured that moment, and I think that's the best that you can ask for when you're going for a shot like this. So definitely a winner. I like it.
Very cool. Angela.
I like this shot. It's very candid, and I love the girl that's posing along the column right there. I think if I was a dancer and these were my friends, it would be exactly the same scene that you would see right there. The only thing that distracts me a little bit is all the bags in the front, especially the one with the words on it. Whenever I see words, I always want to try to read it, and that's where a lot of my attention is going because I can't read it. So I think if the bags weren't there at all of my attention would just go to the girls, and especially the one posing. But otherwise, I think this is a great candid shot of just these girls hanging out.
Excelente. Mason. Oh, no, you can't do it, Mason. You're off limits. David.
Well, I think I agree with Angela. I think this is a fabulous moment in these girls' day and in their lives. I love the cell phones and the sense that everyone is photographing the girl striking a pose by the gazebo, but the lettering on the large round bag on the right side, my eye keeps going to those because it's such a high contrast area and so sharp. And in a perfect world, what I would love would be to remove the lettering from that bag, but leave the beautiful sort of ballerina outline that's just above it. Now that might take some Photoshop work, some Lightroom work. Photojournalism, that would violate our rules of ethics, but boy, that little black and white ballerina on the bag and then the black and white ballerinas behind it, I think would make for a lovely sort of visual repetition. Great slice of life photo, though.
Very cool.
You guys are killing me with these reviews. Great little slice of life. It's embarrassing. 10 years from now, these girls will all deny they were there. And what's with this little girl over on the right wearing these like wooden shoes from Holland? You can't do ballet in those kind of shoes. It's a terrible picture. Let's be honest.
10 years from now, they'll be more embarrassed by the cell phone they had then than that they were in this park.
That may be true. You got a point. Once again, I vote for David.
Okay, and Dave, you are up.
All right, let's see if I can do the screen share part. So far, I have to compliment all my other masters. So far, no one has bobbled the screen share this evening. Let's see if I can make this work too. And hopefully, you'll see one photo now.
There you go.
Boom.
All right. So tonight, I'd like to present Corinne Federer's photos. She's one of the apprentices in my small cohort. And Corinne lives currently in Amsterdam, but she is a world traveler. She was an IT consultant, a business professional, and now I would say is traveling the world, raising a child with her partner, and shooting just fabulous photos. This is an image I had to ask where, but this is Tokyo on New Year's Day from when she was living in Japan, shot from the roof of her building. And one of the things that I find so wonderful about Corinne's photos, she has technical skills, she has artistic skills, but she is keenly aware, I think, I would argue, that it's our art and not our tools that make great images. That photos like this were shot with a consumer-grade, low-end point-and-shoot, and then she moves into an SLR and on up the equipment ladder. But even in her early beginnings, where she's shooting with fairly low-end equipment, I think she's going out and finding beauty in travel and cityscapes and the people that inhabit these beautiful places she goes. So here, this is one of her more recent photos. This would be the the market in Amsterdam, I believe. This one, of course, multiple frames blended together, and a lot of work has gone on in our critiques, in our discussions, on ghosting, haloing, all the things that make this kind of photo difficult to shoot, but just a lovely night scene, one that brings me to that sort of feel of Europe, the way the last one brought us to Japan. This one, the cathedral ceiling near her house, very, very unique perspective. She's lying flat on her back to shoot this photo, and you know, so often we see folks using techniques like HDR, soft focus, etc., just to play with the technique and not really to add to the story or in a place where that kind of photography is necessary. And you know, as all of you know, my esteemed masters, to get this kind of shot, it just can't be done in a single click of the shutter. So it's so wonderful for me to have Corinne in my community using these skills and playing with these skills in places where they just make sense. But again, it's not her technicals that I find so, not only her technicals I find so admirable, it's also her slice of life photos, like this fisherman walking along in Hanoi, I think, if my memory serves, or maybe this is Thailand. I believe this is either Thailand or Vietnam. And she's on a boat going down the river, saw this out of the corner of her eye, whipped the camera around, and shot this incredible, colorful photo. But the photo I thought I would submit this evening is this from a series we've been doing, or a challenge that I've been giving them. Every weekend I ask them to submit photos for a fun weekend challenge. And Corinne decided for the weekend challenge that she was only going to shoot panning. That was the technique that she wanted to work on that weekend. And she got this fabulous photo of just folks pedaling around Amsterdam, a very bike-friendly city. And I think this is just such a strong image. Her black and white treatment is, to me, fabulous. And more than anything, I want to point out those awesome shoes, because here in Montana, there is no place to buy shoes like this. I'd also like to point out that, at least here in the States, bike helmets are standard, or at least expected, and yet in this culture, clearly, the boy riding on the back with his father, no helmet, doesn't even bat an eye. Anyway, Corinne Federer's image, I submit to you for this evening. Let's see if I can stop the screen share. There we go. Oh, let me put that image back up.
Awesome presentation, David. That was cool.
Thanks.
Very awesome.
See if I can put that photo back up.
AD.
That was a cool photo.
AD. How are you possibly going to criticize the guy wearing the roach killer shoes with the unsafe child on the back? How are you going to criticize that?
Well, I don't do criticisms, Gino. I do critiques. There's a big difference. That's all I got. No. It's an awesome photo. Well composed. I mean, it's you know, perfectly in the third. I could pick on the dust spot that's in the photo if I wanted to. There's a couple of them, 3 of them actually that I see so far, but it doesn't matter. When there's a strong image that's presented, a lot of times, you know, that's stuff that we learn as we go. But he captured the moment, right? Is it a he?
In Amsterdam,
she.
nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Corinne, she.
Right.
Sorry,
she. That's what I thought. Okay. I had it right the first time. She captured an amazing image, and I think that the story here is strong enough that I look beyond all of that other stuff, and that the focus on the dad and the son, and just, you know, the whole idea with being carefree and yeah, not wearing the helmets, you know, like we do in the police state over here in New York, and all that sort of thing is awesome. So great job. I like it. I like it a lot.
Excellente. Angela.
I agree with AD. The only thing that I really saw in this image were the dust spots, but other than that, I think this is a great image. I love the blur in the background, and I can see that on the storefront there was some writing there, and it's all blurred out from the panning. And just think overall this is a great image, and even the shadows in the streets are really interesting to look at. So I really don't have anything to say.
Excellente. And Mason.
You know, I live in Portland, which is sort of like America's Amsterdam, people say, and I would think that I could see a scene like this in Portland somewhere, except of course the kid would have more of a heavy sideburns, and the dad would be wearing a dress. But you know, I am too. I'm a little distracted by the dust spots. I know that's it's just a little thing, but it's all about the little things. I also I like the black and white, but I think I'd like to see this in color. I think that there's enough in the background that might make a really beautiful, you know, screen of color behind them that might be a really intriguing shot as well. I do like the black and white. I'm going to echo what Angela said. I really like the shadow on the concrete, on the bricks down in the foreground there too. That's really nice. The expression on the kid's great. The expression on the dad also pretty fun. So I would just wonder where they're off to.
Mason, you really want to know what the color of those shoes are, so that you can order them on Amazon, right?
I just ordered them off Zappos. Yeah, they're actually yellow. They're bright yellow with purple on the back. So
send me a link, man.
Yeah, I'll zap that to you.
You know, it's funny, Trey. You used to live in Austin, so you know this is true. Is that every single guy that's under the age of 30 in Austin wants to look just like this guy. They want the hipster messenger bag, the skinny jeans, the roach killer shoes, you know, the little Sean Lennon look-alike kid on the back of the bike that he's pedaling in the 100-degree weather. This is every single guy in Austin right here.
It is. It's super hipster.
Yeah, it's mega hipster.
All right, guys. So now what we do right before voting is I want everyone to give a final little 15-second pitch about your photo. You can bring it up. We'll go in reverse order so that people's memories can be refreshed. Okay. So, David, even though we just saw yours, you can give us one final spiel. If you could pull up the photo too, that would be awesome.
Sorry. All right. Hang on 1 second. Let me pull up my photo again. There we go. Photo up.
Yes, photo up.
The thing that makes this photo for me is also that I got to see her practicing a single technique for an entire weekend. And as someone who has tried to shoot panning for 15 years, I can just tell you that I'm so envious of the sharp focus and just nailing it here at a 1/10 of a second. This is one that would be in my portfolio if it were mine.
Very good. Going in reverse order, Mason, give us your 15-second pitch.
I think we've got a really strong field of photos here today. It's going to be really hard for me to figure out who to vote for. But I think it's going to come down to not necessarily the photograph, but the story behind it. And I think that, you know, we all would love to go to Amsterdam and hang out on the street corner and eat baguettes and smoke weed or whatever it is they do there. And we'd all like to go to Africa, and we'd all like, but it's hard to go down to the park in your own town and find the inspiration to just lurk until you find a great photo. And I think that that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Stephen's work is he finds these moments close to home, and he captures them masterfully well. I would agree about the text in the on the bag, and I would actually come to his defense. He had originally cropped that out and had just the ballerina showing. But I asked him to put the bottom back in because I wanted to see more of the junk on the ground. So my bad on that one. Don't punish him for that. Please vote. I can't go back to my cohort a loser twice in a row. It's just it's hard, you guys.
Well, you know what, Mason? We got to give you credit. Your image is the only one that could land you in jail, 5 to 10. So. All right, Angela, you're up next.
Yes, this is my photo from my apprentice, Patrick Hansen. This image leaves a lot of mystery. It's kind of a portrait that you don't see every day. You want to know more about this woman, and you want to just learn from her and see what her life is really like. I just love the processing. Everything about it is so mysterious and leaves you wanting more. So for this image, I really hope you vote for this, and it's just something like nothing that's really represented in this Creation Wars.
Did anyone notice that was just the perfect response to the critiques earlier? We went from people saying, I wonder if it was just what's off the screen and where are they looking at? It's mysterious, that's what it is. That was a perfect response.
Yeah, I know. See, Angela's a pro, man. She knows. She took that earlier junk from everybody else, and then she just wrapped it all up and said, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right, guys. You want more. Yeah,
that's what he's going for. The black and white tells good stories, and that's exactly what this image is.
Pro. That's pro level right now.
All right. I think my favorite thing about this show is the analysis of the analysis. Yeah. Great.
All right. A.D. Wheeler.
A.D. Wheeler.
All right, for you guys who didn't see it, okay, there's a bear right here. Bears are adorable, so you got to give me that. Bears are adorable. And a person in my cohort, Lisa, who's very observant, we're going to get Lisa in here at some point in time, said it looks like a bear sliding down a mountain because this is a little foot right here and another little foot over here. So even more adorable than it was before. So I need your votes. I really do. This is my second time through here. And the other thing I want to point out, and you guys may have overlooked this, I mentioned it earlier, and I have to mention it again. Molly Kate, she's Irish, and she's a girl, and she's a really good photographer. And I do believe that if you Wikipedia that, you will find out that you have to vote for her. It's internet law. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
That was sad. You know what? That was sad. She's Irish and a girl? That's what you're bringing to the table?
I'm telling you. And she's a good photographer, though. That's the main thing. I just put the other thing in there because it's internet law. I don't know if you know that or not.
No, I didn't know that.
You should check.
Okay. Thanks for explaining where the bear was, though. It always helps when you have to explain the story.
Right.
Okay, so I've sent the voting ballots off to our various masters, but while that happens and while they vote, I was going to show you something, Gino. So I was checking the live hashtag stream on Twitter and every place, but especially Twitter. And it looks like there's quite a bit of drinking going on, especially while watching A.D. Wheeler. Like Steve is just slamming some ale while just jamming into some A.D. Wheeler there. It's like Jeffrey McPeters is already finished the wine and now onto something else. We have Lisa Speakman here. Let's see, she put something on Instagram. What does she have going on? She has some Harmony wine. Watching the show. Everything's happening. Everything's happening, Gino. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Everybody's. I think it's because they're all appreciating what David brought to the show tonight. You know what? They knew like I knew. When I put David in at cleanup, it was over. The show was over. There was no point in even having the show.
Gino, are you happy with David's submission to the Creation Wars?
No, it's over. David's submission may be the greatest submission ever to the show.
On behalf of my cohort, I say thank you, but the votes aren't tabulated yet.
You know, I want to let you know something right now, David. The fact that I'm pimping you so hard on this show is a death knell for you. There's no shot you're going to win now. All the other masters that we're going to vote for you have decided not to vote for you now.
You guys have to talk and hang out while I add up these votes. I'm not very good at this. So go.
Hang on 1 second. I still got to figure out how I vote in the other hangout. 1 second. Apologies. That's the problem with coming late to these things.
Is it? You see how many shows have we had already, Trey? And yet every single master, I'm using air quotes when I say that, they can't even figure out your submission. You know that you tell them like use this form. It's really easy. I think this is intentional, Trey. I think you're making this so intentionally hard for them to figure out that you can just choose whatever you want to choose, and that nobody will ever be able to figure out if it was the actual winner or not.
Well, I'll tell you that so far, the only two people that have done it perfect this time are A.D. Wheeler and Mason Marsh.
What?
Uh-oh. Angela is not having it, Trey.
The more you drink.
Yeah.
You were very close, Angela, but it wasn't perfect.
Really?
The trick is just to copy whatever Trey sends you and fill in the blanks, and then it's perfect. It's every time. It's awesome.
So, David, can you find my chat? Are we in Google Chat together, David? Marx?
Sorry. I've got it. I'm just trying to figure out on the iPad how I distribute my talents amongst such fabulous images.
Don't worry, take your time. We'll just keep the conversation going while you sit.
David, just remember you can only give my guy 3 talents.
Right. Yeah, the
But you are
pedophile
required to give my photographer 3 talents, so I don't know how that works out.
Yeah.
And was that, by the way, Mason? Is your guy's like? Is his pseudonym Jethro Tull? Is that like Aqualung? That submission? Once again, Angela has no idea. Jethro Tull, Aqualung. Who are these people you speak of? What is this Woodstock you speak of?
Yes.
Google it.
You and I were both there, right? I was born that summer. That's as close as I get to Woodstock.
What was that? That was
summer of '69. Look it up there, Gino.
Yeah, no, I've got the album right
summer
here.
we landed on the moon.
Yeah, quadruple album.
5 years old.
I find it ironic, Gino, that you were making fun of the Austin hipsters, yet you have a LP collection that most hipsters would kill for.
Okay, well, first of all, this is a legitimate LP collection. I don't go to some crappy hipster record store and buy my albums, okay? These are the albums that I grew up with, my friend.
I love it.
All right, I have submitted my talents.
I think you heard his one feeling.
Hey, Gino, I think a business opportunity in Austin, it would also work in Portland, is to recreate all of those album covers and just sell the empty sleeves that the hipsters could put in their little studio apartments.
Yes. You know, I've actually, it's funny you say that, because I've had this idea. I sell a lot of images, especially this time of year, around town in a lot of different restaurants and shops and stuff. I hang them up there and then people buy them. And I've had this idea for a collage of albums tracking the history of rock and roll, going all the way back to the Crossroads and bringing it all the way forward, to whatever. It's hard to even say who's the last guy. Maybe Jack White or somebody. But I've had this idea of like getting album covers and like making a collage, tracking the history of blues and rock and roll all the way into the present. Maybe like like really big, like 40 by 60 or something like that. And my wife says nobody will buy that, and I say I don't care if anybody buys it. Me and Jimi Hendrix someday will be like, well, man, that was a great idea, bro. And I'll go, yeah, you know what? Purple Rain, that was pretty good too. Me and you. You know what I'm saying? Right there.
All right.
Rock and roll.
I think people would buy it. I think people would buy it.
I do. I think people buy it.
Yeah,
All right, Trey.
Did it in the shape of a
People will
tree. Did it in the shape of a tree, like a family tree. That would be cool on the wall of a hipster restaurant.
Man, you just blew my mind, bro. It's like a whole new algorithm right there.
That one's free, bud. That one's free. You can have it.
You know what? I'm going to send you 10% when that goes through.
Oh, man. I'm going to go ahead and put my order in for that what do they call that? The Inspire?
Yeah.
If you have any money left after about those shoes, let's see here.
Right. Right. The wooden pointy shoes.
Mason, I just got an email from my mom. I don't always read my mom's emails in the middle of the show, but this one I did. She goes, "That Mason Marsh is very funny."
Tell her looks aren't everything. Looks aren't
Oh, he
everything.
gets the mom vote. Man, that's awesome.
Thanks, Trey's mom.
Yeah.
Does mom get a vote?
No, my mom gets no vote. My mom
Really?
gets no vote. No, actually, I think my mom is actually more active on social media than I am. She's all over the place.
Yeah. She is.
She is, man. It's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Mrs. Ratcliff rocks. She rocks hard style. You know what, Mason?
Yeah.
That's like a little notch right there, bro.
I'm
Mrs.
gonna.
Ratcliff says Mason rocks.
If you guys hang on to the after show, I'll send you I'll tell you a funny story about my mom and a stalker that I had.
Is it me? Is it a story about me?
Gino's life story.
No. No, you're a safe stalker. You have none of the red flags, Gino. You're all right.
Yeah. I never published any of the pictures I took outside your house when you lived here.
Okay.
So he did move to a different hemisphere.
It's true. Yeah, he moved all the way around the globe. I didn't think about that. You might be right.
Okay, well, I've tabulated the results. I've cross-checked them, done a checksum, and I'm sure of the winner now. Are you ready?
All right.
Once again, just like last week, Gino, remember we had a two-way tie for second place. Same thing this time, super close voting. So there's a two-way tie for second place. We never reveal the final vote counts. And the winner only won by 1 vote. All right, so super duper close. And the winner, I can announce now, is Angela B. Pan.
Yes! Again!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice job.
I want to apologize, David. Yours was clearly going to be the winner until I kept talking about it, and then it was over. But Angela, a worthy winner, a fantastic image, no doubt about it.
Thank you. And I just wanted to make a point where I wanted to say that all the men and women in my cohort are beautiful and handsome. I just only have one handsome Nordic man.
Yeah, I was actually asking in the post show because you said no, I don't have a lot of handsome men. So I was like, do you care to?
Sorry, I just meant Nordic. I have very beautiful men and women, all very attractive. In my cohort.
Nice cover.
Nice recovery. Okay, your whole cohort will forgive you because you're the winner.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
So not only do your apprentices win the gene prizes and get to be beautiful people, but they also win the Creation Wars. Two shows in a row that I've been on with you now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
I'm awesome right here.
I think
is this your second head-to-head with Angela?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love being on this show, but I want to go up against Lark or something.
What?
All
right, I'm making a note. Hold on, making a note. Those are fighting words right there.
Angela
is like at the end of a wrestling match when everyone just gets in and they start calling each other out on the mic.
She starts throwing these pictures up of these Norse gods and their little Sony cameras, and everybody's like, oh, my
Trey,
poor
are
guy
you keeping?
My poor scraggly guy in
track
his
at the
Fuji
end?
have no chance, right? No chance. It's just like back in high school. All the handsome guys get all the votes. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Some belly aching going on there. I don't know, Mason.
Well,
yeah, I gotta tell you,
where I went.
Your apprentices are beautiful too, AD. So you don't have no dog in this fight.
Calling out Lark, though, I think that's a pretty tragic mistake there, Mason. She's got a lot of fight. I think the show that you go on with Lark, she may obliterate your entire cohort. She's going to bring the game so heavy. I'm already predicting this.
If I had a cohort
watching right now,
if I had a cohort of 40 people, I'd probably do all right.
Trey, are you bracketing all this? Bringing like the big guns at the end?
Yeah.
All the winners.
I got it all figured out. Actually, Mason, I'm going to try to schedule you and Lark for week 8 together. Okay, so.
Great.
All right, mark
Can I
that
just
off.
come and observe? I just want to hang out for that.
I can
one.
get drubbed by somebody else. Angela, no, the photo was awesome.
Thank
I just
you.
think the guy's—he's just too pretty. He's just too pretty.
I totally forgot about the picture of him. Actually, I would have taken 1 point off.
Really, I printed it
No,
out. I've
I-
got it here on my desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
hey,
no.
AD,
Way.
if you would have taken 1 point off, then it would have been a 3-way tie for first.
Oh, come on. Oh.
Tiff just revealed
I'm gonna have
in
more
her
wine.
chat that Angela also won the People's Choice Award.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's a
Yeah,
Wow.
that's verification,
Is that right, Tiff?
Just smidged in by 1 vote again.
Congratulations. The
Thanks,
scowl
everyone.
rules.
Yeah. Yeah, you just
It's
don't.
an awesome
you
image.
can't beat her. You just can't. She can't be beaten.
I think you
She's,
need to put her and Lark in the same room.
Yeah, actually, that's a throwdown
Yeah.
I'd want to see.
Yeah.
My money's on Angela.
You know,
Awesome.
the
Thanks.
thing is, like
Okay,
everybody
Hutton in there.
keeps
I
making
don't know.
fun of me here for talking about Angela's scowl, but it's significant because it's like subliminal. She's over there scowling while the rest of you are showing your images, and the audience picks up on it, and they're like, "Yeah, maybe she's right. Maybe that isn't a very good image. You know, I don't know."
Here I was sucking up to Trey. I should have been sucking up to Angela.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
You know, I blew it,
Mason,
man.
you still have a lot to learn, man. I
do. I'm just a amateur in this game, and been bested by a true pro. Man.
Yeah.
Hey, AD, it looks like you're driving through Zion.
I am.
He's
I
like the
am.
best reverser in the entire world.
I'm going backwards. This was from 2013 in October. And Trey, this was this culminated in that same shot from the bridge that you took. And one of your fans got extremely upset at me when I made a joke on your page and said, "Hey Trey, don't go around taking the same shots that I do." It was totally a joke because everybody shoots from that bridge.
Right.
We all love that scene. You can't leave Zion without taking that photo. I mean, it's just, and your fan got really upset at me. I was hurt.
Well, you know the internet people.
Internet, yeah.
Internet people. Those are some cool shots. You know, one of my favorite things about Zion is the color of the roads. They kind of got that purple tone. You know.
Yeah. They actually used rock from the red rock from there and built the roads with that. It's totally amazing. It's just an awesome place.
All right, so let's jump into photo sharing time. I will go last as usual. Let's just go in the normal order. Gino, you can throw in some if you want to too. Well, anybody can. This is very free for all part of the show. Do you want to start, AD?
I knew you were going to say that. I don't have anything called up. Can somebody else jump in there and I will grab something really quick?
I have an image from Zion that I can share.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's the same bridge that you guys are talking about. But I was there in
Absolutely.
October. Yeah, I was there in October and shot this sunset when everybody was pointing the other direction. I just turned around and noticed all this color in the sky, and it was amazing. And this was definitely the better shot than the whole row of photographers that were standing out there. But this was definitely my favorite shot that I captured while I was in Zion.
That's as close as I'll get to being as great as Angela Pan is that I did the same thing. I turned around while there were like 10 people. I'm like, there's no place for me to shoot here.
Yeah.
And, I did the same thing, and the other view is amazing on looking the other way too. So but that's it. That's as close as I'll ever be. I won't be any closer.
All right, who's next? Is it AD, you're not ready. Mason, are you ready?
Yeah, I could throw some up here. Let me screen share. I probably get in trouble for showing these, but let's do it anyway. I took school photos from my son's preschool a couple weeks ago, and had a lot of fun doing it. I've never really done this before, actual little kid portraits other than my own children. And some of these kids were real characters, and I had a lot of fun taking their photos. And had a good time lighting it and kind of stepping out away from the landscape side of things and playing with the speed lights a little bit and getting these kids to ham it up. And I enjoyed processing them and printing them and doing the whole photo studio thing that I've never dabbled in before. So this is one of my favorites. This girl was just adorable.
Oh.
It's awesome.
And then this kid just cracked me up. I could not get him to smile. And I know he's going to be like a famous author someday. You know, suspense thrillers or something, and that's his author photo. I mean, that's just incredible. And then there's my son, who's never serious. So that's all I had was some school portraits. I've been too busy doing Arcanum stuff to get out and do anything else. So
Those are awesome photos. I bet the parents must have been thrilled. That's not the typical boring school photo.
yeah, they seemed happy. You know, they're Portland people, so it's hard to tell when people are impressed in Portland.
You should have put a bird on it. Put a bird on it.
I could have just put a bird on it, or maybe given them
Bacon
each print in a hemp little envelope or something.
Okay, it looks like AD is ready. Go, AD.
Go, he says, as I'm trying to figure out the crazy screen share slideshow. So this past weekend, Friday actually, we all convened down at Central Park. The Arcanum members, a few masters, Alan Shapiro and Pete Giordano was in town, and it was just, I drove 4 hours to hang out for just a couple hours and eat pizza just off 6th Avenue, and it was just amazing. Just I was in New York for 24 hours, and as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, it went by so fast, and I was so energized at the end of this. It's just I can't even explain it. I can't even express it. It was so amazing to hang out with all of these amazing people, and we just had the cameras flying, and it was such a good time, and yeah, and people took pictures of me. I don't even know. This is from a future master that I'm bringing in, a fellow studio shooter of a friend of mine, Lou Quattrini, who made the trek with me just to hang out for the day with everybody. And Lou is an amazing photographer. He's a concert photographer, but he also does landscapes, and he does some of the abandoned scape stuff. But just this is from everybody. These aren't my photos, by the way. I'm just throwing it out here. These are photos from other Arcanum members. I'm just whipping through them here just to show you guys what an amazing time it was. That's Louis right there walking over, taking a photo, and Alan Shapiro. Yeah, so it's just was such a great time. I can't wait to do it again, and I think we're talking about doing it again as well. So yeah, if you guys ever get a chance to come to New York or whatever city we might make it to, don't pass it up. Make the time. Skip out on work. Do whatever you got to do, but it will change you completely. It was awesome. And not the way that Gino thinks either, so just put that out there.
Man, that looks amazing. I would love to be in a group like that.
Yeah.
How long were you guys together, like photo walking?
Oh, we photo walked. You know, it was supposed to be like an hour, but you know, by the time we made it to the pizza place, Pete had to pick up and leave. So I think we were out there like 3 hours. It was just so incredible. I mean, Rick Salmon was there. His wife was there. It just was just this amazing group, and you know, to be able to hang out with those folks every day. And you know, I say this all the time when I'm pitching the Arcanum to people. I'm like, you don't even realize how amazing it is to be surrounded by people who are this creative and have the same humble, you know, way about them, and just want to create and make beautiful art. It's just awesome. Just totally blew my mind.
Awesome, yes.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Photo walks are always mind-blowing. I'll never get used to them. We've got at least 3 coming up that I'm doing, and if anyone else does them, you know, let us know. We'll spread them around the Arcanum. But I think in late January, after I get back, maybe early Feb. We'll have one in Hong Kong. We'll have one. I'll host it in Hong Kong, in Berlin, and in London. So those are 3 that we can announce now, and we'll get them on the schedule.
Yeah,
What?
Hong Kong, Berlin, and London. I'll probably be in all of those places. I'll just go to all of them, Trey. That'd be awesome.
Well, good. I'll buy you a beer, Gino.
Yeah,
And I do
are you
want
gonna be
along that same lines, my cohort is really excited about this, and they're talking about it, and I just want to make a mention. My entire cohort, all 23 of us, I guess, or so, whatever the number is these days, we are all going to Joshua Tree in February together. I'm going to drive a van, and we're taking like 8 people. We're going to drive across the United States, and I'm taking everybody out there, and we're all going to do this pilgrimage to Joshua Tree, and I'm going to get to meet everybody in my cohort. It's just mind-blowing.
That sounds awesome.
It's been nothing but that since I've been in the Arcanum. Just
that van is going to be pretty smelly by the time you get to Joshua Tree.
Yeah, we'll take the Febreze with us. You know, we'll make it nice. We'll make it nice.
Windows
So
open.
are you guys all like YouTube fans, or what's with the Joshua Tree?
Yeah, I don't know. It was suggested by one of the girls who was close to there, and Kim Randall is going to come out. She's in my cohort. She's totally awesome. Great dive photographer. And Lisa Speakman, as Trey knows Lisa from hanging out and whatnot. And Lisa has kind of put this all together and organized it. And I said, you know, what the heck? I'll drive, and I'm going to rent a van, and we're going to drive out there, and we're going to do it. We're going to document the whole thing in video and just make it like the Arcanum journey and all that kind of stuff. So we'll kind of give everybody an inside look, and maybe Smell-O-Vision will be out by then, and we can include Smell-O-Vision in all of it, so you can really get down with it, you know.
The next Arcanum newsletter includes Scratch and Sniff.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. I think that's what Gino's doing right now. I'm not sure.
No, I'm
He's looking for the Joshua Tree.
Oh, you're looking for the album. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it go.
YouTube fan.
Well, that you know, 1 out of every 1 billion people on the planet feels that way, so you're not alone.
And I'm Irish.
By the way, I wanted to say thank you. On the last Creation Wars, I'd mentioned that I was going to Big Ben this Friday, and I'd never been, and so I was asking anybody that watches the show if they would like send me an email and just give me some tips on like spots you thought were really good and what time of day, and I got quite a few. But Jennifer Moore, who is in the Arcanum, I believe, I think she's in the Arcanum, but she sent me a whole list of places to go and times, and she even mentioned to watch out and not eat the Terlingua chili. So, you know, I appreciate tips like that. That's always helpful. So, Jennifer Moore, thank you. I appreciate all of your feedback.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jennifer. Friends helping friends. Hey, David Marx, you haven't shared yet, so go for it.
All right. Well, I teach a lot of landscape and night photography workshops, and I have one coming up in March, but we'll talk about that later if needed. But last year, just about a year ago, I got the chance to go float down the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon on the subject of national parks, Gino. I got to float for an entire month, and sort of unlike a photo walk, on our trip there were 5 professional photographers. Now, the chance to travel for a month with 5 other working pros is just so inspiring, and you know, it was just such a treat. So I thought this evening I'd show some photos that have basically been sitting on my hard drive for a year, and I'm finally getting around to process. Maybe you guys have the same trouble. Finally getting around to stuff that's fully 1 year old, but basically brand new to me. So just a couple of photos from last year, bottom of the Grand Canyon. Let's see. Did the screen share work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. I usually bobble that. So this would be, they're in no particular order, but this is actually the end of the Grand Canyon when you float out into Lake Mead. This is what they call Grand Wash Cliffs. But my favorite, what I think makes the place so amazing, are the skies at night and firelight reflecting off the cliff walls, and where you camp, and the people you travel with, and just the amazing stars, amazing skies, such good company, night after night. Let's see. And this is a black and white infrared. Give you a sense of what traveling in a place like that feels like. Let's see. Yeah, one more. The light at the bottom of the canyon, when it gets light, just magical. Anyway, photos that are really a year overdue for the wonderful folks I got to travel with.
You know what's great about shooting national parks is it's like a blessing and a curse, because they're so amazing that you almost can't get the sense of how amazing it is in your images. And that's what makes somebody like Ansel Adams so amazing, is that he really did capture it. But, you know, like I go and I get these breathtaking views that literally, it's like, it literally takes my breath away when I see them. And I try to capture it, and then when I look at the image, I'm like, it's just not as good as it really was. And, you know, that's where national parks, it like takes every bit of what you've got to show everybody else what you were seeing in that moment.
If you'd like, my cohort has room for more, Gino. We can work on that with you.
David, thank you so much. I'm there. I'm all over it, bro.
Yes, I may not have one, but I've recruited
That's the only thing I don't know if you have that Angela has, you know.
Oh.
Plus, she's a two-time champion. You're a one-time loser, bro. I mean, what are you bringing to the table?
No, lifetime loser. Lifetime.
No, not true. I'm still voting for you. I say this whole show was suspect. David was the real winner. That's what I say.
All right, do you guys want me to share now? Let me go share here. I shouldn't be showing these because normally I like to save photos that I'm going to put on the blog to be up on the blog, you know, sort of as a surprise. But these are a few upcoming photos on the blog. I guess some of you guys know that I put up a new photo every day. The albatross around my neck, but I love it. It's all good. This one is from Namibia. And this year I've spent a ton of time in the desert, just a ton of time in these sand dunes. And I've kind of started to think of them as being somewhat feminine, you know, the curves and the lines, and especially in the sort of this high-key black and white. It's been really fun just to capture little shapes here and there and have them be a little confusing, I guess. This is from Bora Bora. This is out one morning. There was a little tiny little rainbow off in the distance. I thought it was kind of pretty. And I'm going to put this one, this like super, like, is it this like the perfect way to live? Couldn't you just live there forever? And then this is sort of the maybe opposite. This is in Soweto. These are the townships of Johannesburg, South Africa. I shot this with a drone. I took a lot of photos there, actually. It was really fun. I had a really nice time. I found it actually to be totally safe, and the kids are wonderful, and just really had a great time. I was amazed. I was a little scared, honestly, going there, but it was just fine, absolutely fine. I took this right before I went to Africa. This is near Mount Cook in sort of the middle part of the southern island of New Zealand, South Island. And I was out there with Stu. We slept all night in my truck. And we slept outside for a while, but it got a little sketchy, so we ended up going inside. But then when we got it to transition from the outside to the inside, I saw this little village. This is called Iroki Village. At the base of this mountain. It's filled with sculptures and all kinds of stuff, so I just took a little photo while I was transitioning. This is also here in New Zealand. This is in Milford Sound, way down south. This is that kind of that wonderful morning light that comes in. It's random. Every morning, you never know what you're going to get. Here is another master at the Arcana. This is Cliff Bays and his lovely wife, Cher. We took a hike. This is about, it's honestly like 9 minutes from my house. This is over by Skipper's Canyon. So we went up there on a little hike. And the lighting was just so weird. You know, it's hitting them full on, and the lighting behind them was nice. And there's like some shadows from some clouds that were making everything look kind of weird in the back. And I thought it was kind of awesome. Here's Frederick Van Johnson. I took this with a Leica 50mm f1.4, and one of my favorite things to do with these lenses is just to aim them right into the sun and then just play with the lens flare. I think it's so fun. Getting to see the lens flare live and taking the photo and just knowing what you're going to get before you shoot it, just great. Here's another one from Bora Bora. This was a really warm sunset, little island out there, little deserted island. This is hiking along the Great Wall of China. I went to a new part of the Great Wall of China this last time. I think it's my 5th trip there. And this was really great because it was really easy to walk on, and you could just go for miles and miles and miles, and it was not crowded at all. That was probably my most favorite part about it, is that you just walk forever and only see a few people, especially at night. I stayed up there way too late. It was pitch black when I got back. Here's another one from Beijing. This was actually shot in Tiananmen Square, and these people were all awesome. They had never seen a white person before. They had come from another province to come visit. Like Tiananmen Square is sort of like Disney World, I guess, in a way. Not
except for in Disney World, nobody's getting run over by a tank.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But all that news didn't make it all over China. I don't know if you heard or not. So anyway, people come from all over to visit, and they come from remote provinces. And so I got my picture taken with all of them and that kind of thing. And I'll leave you with this one. This is actually sort of an Arcanum-y photo, because this is right after we formed the Arcanum. We took a little helicopter ride out here in New Zealand. Me and Pete and Curtis and a couple other people, and just had a great time and took a lot of photos, and gosh, it was great. That was a great day. That's when we were trying to put all the little finishing touches on the design of the Arcanum, which, as you know, is continuing to evolve thanks to all you guys. The big idea really was just to surround ourselves with a bunch of really smart, clever, good-hearted photographers, sort of this nice ego-free zone, and then just design the most awesome thing ever. So anyway, thank you guys all for being part of it.
By the way, Trey, Mason brought up in the chat zone, and I totally agree, that Disney would be a lot better if it did have tanks rolling down its fairways. How amazing would that be? So anyway, I do have Joshua Tree, and I wanted to bring up, Trey, I would like to see you with this haircut. I think, how great would the Arcanum be if you were sporting that?
It's kind of Emo Phillips.
Yeah. So anyway, Joshua Tree, 80-wheeler, and a bunch of stinky people in a van will look pretty similar to this.
Pretty much gonna look like that, yeah.
Just like that.
I'm gonna look just like Bono in this trip.
Yeah, Bono in a white beater and a bunch of yellow
beater,
stained armpits.
Yep.
Yeah, the only clean thing AD will have is a blazer, so he'll be wearing that. No T-shirt.
Absolutely, you gotta have the blazer.
All right, you guys, any parting words before we end the official broadcast here?
David was robbed.
David was robbed. By the way, in the after party, Tiff, be sure to show us some of the favorite photos that have come across on the hashtag. I know you've been watching it like a hawk, right, Tiff?
Yes, for sure. Don't worry.
Cool. All right. Okay, well, thank you, all you amazing masters. Thank you, heroes of the Arcanum. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We appreciate it. Tell your friends if you liked it. Otherwise, just forget it. Forget it ever happened. But anyway, thank you very much. This was awesome. I love doing this show. It's a great chance to hang out with all these great masters and Gino and these heroes and everybody. It's great to see all the photos. I'm always amazed at the kind of art that's coming out of the Arcanum. That's really what it's all about at the core of it. It's just the creation of the art. I feel lucky that we actually get to form relationships around that creation. Although that's just sort of like the gravy on what's already very wonderful. So anyway, thank you guys all very much. All right, so everyone can just kind of wave goodbye from your little Brady Bunch boxes down there. Who's crying?
That's my son.
Yeah,
So
Mason
sad
is
the
about
show's
to
ending.
bring out the entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay, and the official show ends
Crying because
now.
I was robbed. He agrees.